I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false. I need to go back to work with the American people.
Okay.
Cough, cough.
Okay. So just whenever you're ready.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So, okay. The first time I was really, really interested in something, it's going to sound very juvenile, it was Dora the Explorer. I did not speak Spanish at the time. I was about 4. I would pronounce it dra. And it was all that I'd watch. At the time, on like the guide on the television, it would have whatever icon it was for that channel, and I would associate the icon with Dora the Explorer. So when I would see the icon, I'd be like, okay, obviously Dora is on right now, and I'm missing it. And my mother would have to explain, no, actually a different show is on, but that's expressed in the words which you cannot read, but it is not Dora the Explorer. And I'm like, no, mama. It is Dora the Explorer. I had a lot of dreams about Dora the Explorer. But it's odd because I never, I was always slightly annoyed by the character. I did not like her. When I think about it, I really had a strong dislike for the character. I really connected with the monkey.
Boots?
My father used to call me Boots because my boots were always too big for me, and I had very skinny legs at the time, so it was just, I resembled the character, so he would call me Boots. I think the most vivid memory of an obsession that I had would be Monk, which was 4th to 6th grade. No, maybe 4th to 5th grade. Adrian Monk, neurodivergent, that's probably why I relate, even though no one in my family admits that I'm neurodivergent. There's a lot going on. I am the puzzle piece icon. He has OCD, just all the things, and I loved him so much because I could really relate. I used to want to dress like him, wear the same thing every day, and I'd try to tuck all of my t-shirts into my leggings because that's just that was my fit at the time. It was graphic t-shirts and leggings, and I'd always try to tuck the t-shirt in, and my mom was like, you can't do that, you look like a whore, and you shouldn't say that to a 4th grader, so I was just tucking in my shirt. A t-shirt tucked into leggings doesn't look good, but I thought I looked like Adrian Monk. So that's what I did. And Adrian Monk did this thing where when he'd pass lamps and stuff, he would have to touch them like this.
There's a standing lamp on my right in front of a gray couch with 4 cushions, 2 gray, 2 orange. I'm touching the standing lamp. Still touching the lamp. Still touching. Can't stop touching the lamp. What's wrong with me?
So I started doing that in public places. My mom would get really pissed because you shouldn't just touch things on the street, but I'd do it. And Adrian Monk also used to carry the moist towelettes with him all the time, and I wanted to do that, but I never had moist towelettes, so I'd always take either Clorox wipes or the toddler wipes for diapers and stuff. I'd take those and keep them in Ziploc bags, and I just carried them around in my backpack. My favorite character on Monk wasn't actually Monk, it was his assistant Sharona. I loved her. I thought she was the coolest person in the world. And she leaves the show in season 3, and I don't think I ever fully emotionally recovered from it. I cried over it for so long. My mom had to sit me down and be like, you don't know her, she's not real. And I was like, but I miss her. So then after that, it was The Office. I watched it when it was on Netflix. I watched it 26 times, and I loved repetition because I'm very clearly autistic. And I would memorize parts of it and just recite it at random times, which that was pretty normal because a lot of people like The Office. I think The Office is something that a lot of people really enjoy, but it was my whole life. Somewhere in there was also The X-Files. I thought Dana Scully was really, really cool. I had them all on DVD. I had a bunch of swag from it. I really liked The X-Files. I had a t-shirt with Mulder and Scully on it. There was this one time, because it was a V-neck t-shirt, and I was a very modest child, so I didn't like wearing a V-neck t-shirt, so I'd always put a sweater over it. And one day my mom saw that I was wearing a sweater over it, and she was like, you need to let Mulder and Scully breathe. And my aunt, who was over at the time, was very sleepy and very intoxicated, and she said she named her boobs Mulder and Scully, and for the record I didn't, but after that day I contemplated it. That's when it started getting bad, because then the obsessions were more so they were real people. I loved Mrs. Runninger in elementary school. I thought she was so cool. I'd follow her around all the time. And I did the same thing with my English teacher, Mrs. Cooper. I'd follow her around. I'd bombard her with questions all the time. Looking back on it now, I'm surprised I don't have a restraining order, but like, I was very emotionally dependent on her, and I don't know why, because like I get along really well with my mom, but it's almost like I have mommy issues, but I don't have mommy issues, but it's almost like I have them. But I loved her, and that's why I was so like, okay, I'm gonna read Shakespeare, I'm gonna read Charles Dickens, I'm gonna do all the things. But I could never seem to impress her. she would always be really annoyed by me. But now we're cool, now we're friends. After that, there was Miss Blovat. That one ended poorly. It was weird. It was the first time I had an obsession that was like, it was returned. It was like, yeah, no, this woman's really cool. She's great. Like, I'd follow her around at school. She used to call me Shadow, because I was her shadow. She's the one who told me I had autism, because she taught special ed, and she was like, oh my god, I actually have a college degree in your brain. And so we got along really well. It was really great. I thought she was really funny. She always laughed at me, and I thought it was like oh yeah, we're friends. But it was actually more of a, oh my god, that's hilarious, because you actually live like that. That's sad. So I was really emotionally dependent on her. Then my dad died. I bought a Kate Spade purse because she told me to. I can't afford a Kate Spade purse. I'm in college. But yeah, I just did everything she told me to. So that's where the obsessions aren't great. But we have a savior. So at the end of senior year, someone in our government class did a presentation on presidential scandals in which the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal came up. And I knew about the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal. I knew about it from history, but I had never seen a picture of Monica. And she pulls up this picture, and I can recall the picture. It was from August of 1995 on the south lawn of the White House for the president's birthday party. And
Oh no.
so, we get to the Queen. I'm in government. Someone's doing a presentation, the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal. And she shows this picture from August 11th of 1995 on the south lawn of the White House for the president's birthday. And Monica, who I didn't even know was Monica, like she had to be labeled in the picture so I could see which one. So, because like no one knew what Monica Lewinsky looked like, because we weren't alive. She was in her sage green pantsuit, which I later found out her lucky pantsuit, girl boss. And she's shaking the president's hand. And I remember thinking, like in my head distinctly, I was like, oh my god, that's not what I pictured at all. Because, like, all my life, I just associated Monica Lewinsky with, like, the jokes my dad would make about, like, her dress and stuff. So I was kind of, like, picturing, like, almost like a ditzy blonde type thing. But she looked like, for one thing, she was only 4 years older than I was at the time. So I was kind of like, wow, this is a child. And she looks so normal. She looks like a normal 22-year-old, you know? And so I was like, wow, there has to be more to this than meets the eye. So naturally, I did some Googling. And it just derailed. Like, I watched every documentary possible. I watched every interview possible. On March 3rd, 1999, she sat down with Barbara Walters and did an interview for 2020. I watched it every single day up until, like, this February. Like, every day. I can recite it. I have it bookmarked on my computer still, so when you click on it, it goes right to Monica Lewinsky defining phone sex, because it's freaking hilarious. Like, she did that on national television. Not phone sex, she was defining phone sex on national television. And I think she's hilarious. Like, everything that woman touches is gold. I sent her fan mail with, like, a wax seal and stuff, so she definitely thinks that I'm, like, her stalker. I mean, I am her stalker, but, like,
You sent it to her personal address.
I sent it to her personal address. And, like, if you go through my phone, I have, like, a bunch of screenshots of, like, different websites telling me her address, because there are, like, multiple. It was very confusing. But if you, one, use voter registration information in, like, you know, LA, or you go to Ancestry.com and pretend that you're a distant cousin, and that, let me tell you, cameraman, I found Monica's address. But I just want to tell her how much she means to me, you know? Actually, on October 24th of this year, she had this virtual conversation with this author for a book I have not heard of, for a book I have not read, too. And you could buy tickets to this Zoom meeting. There was a conversation between Monica Lewinsky and this author, and I obviously bought tickets for it. And only, like, 4 other people were there. And I asked a question in, like, the Q&A, and she answered my question. Like, she didn't see my face, because I just typed it in the chat. But when she saw it, she was like, that's a great question. Who asked that question? Abby? Abby asked that question? That's a great question, Abby. And when Monica Lewinsky said my name, I almost died. For one thing, I was prepped for, like, the Zoom conversation. Like, I was wearing a beret and the lipstick she wore in her Barbara Walters interview. Like, I was, like, fangirling out. I think that's why my roommate moved out, was because of that day. Like, I was, like, in tears. Since then, like, it hasn't really died out. Like, I still love Monica. There is another Jewish woman in my heart, still, currently. I love Barbra Streisand. I'm not alone in this. A lot of people love Barbra Streisand. Like, she's obviously a queen. I always said when Monica Lewinsky dies, if Monica Lewinsky dies, I'm gonna kill myself because...
Oh my god.
One thing I forgot about Monica Lewinsky, just to shout out to Sam, for Quizmoise.
Quizmoise.
I hate Beanie Feldstein, and it's... okay. Beanie Feldstein's fine, because Monica likes Beanie Feldstein, so I have to be like, okay. But if I auditioned in 2021 for the part of Monica Lewinsky in FX's impeachment American Crime Story, all I gotta say is Beanie would have been in trouble. Like, no, because I watched this interview with her, and she was like, I probably know Monica better than she knows herself. I researched her for like 6 hours. And I'm like, I do 6 hours a day, Miss Girl. Like, I fall asleep to her voice. To this day, if I put on the Barbara Walters interview, I will fall asleep, because I used to fall asleep to it, so it conks me out. Like, as soon as Barbara Walters is like, tonight for the first time, I'm like, I'm done. So, for Quizmoise, Sam, very good at Photoshop.
So good.
So unbelievably good. There's this magazine cover with Monica and Beanie Feldstein on it, and it says, "We're a we now," and it's like a picture of them together, and their heads are like touching, right? And I'm like, I want that. So Sam was able to Photoshop me into that picture, and I appreciated that. I'm gonna print it out and hang it up in my dorm. It'll keep any unwanted roommates away.
Why do you think you're obsessed with all these people?
That's a great question. So I recently started therapy. And my therapist is kind of like, honey, there's so much autism. And it's true, and like, I don't know why, it's just like, sometimes my brain is just like, yes, this is something we really like, and it's just all day, every day, I never get sick of it. And I'm okay with living like that, and usually they linger, like, I'm still friends with Mrs. Cooper, so like, you know, they linger, I never stop liking something, but, you know, there's just a period where it just takes up my mind. That's why I can never date, because there would be all blank space up in here. But, you know, asexual and proud.
Would you consider yourself the most sane in your household?
It depends on the day. I mean, like, I feel like that title goes to my turtle Prospero. That was from my Shakespeare obsession. I actually was having a conversation with one of my professors the other day. Her name is Dr. Hubert. She's cool. Shout out to St. Lawrence University. The classics department that doesn't exist, it's just her. She's cool. I was talking to her the other day about Julius Caesar and how when I was in middle school I thought Julius Caesar jokes were the coolest thing in the world, and my mom and dad get really pissed at me in restaurants because, like, when I'd consistently order a Caesar salad with 23 knives on the side. The waitstaff was really confused. My sister, she goes up and down with, like, mental illness. She's mentally ill, but, like weird things, like she was a Jehovah's Witness for a while. Not that religion is mentally ill, she just like flip-flops between a lot of things. So she'll be like, Jehovah's Witness, no yoga, no belly dancing, no macrame. Like there are things that aren't necessarily bad, they're just like, there's a lot of whiplash going on. And then my mom just cries a lot. She asks a lot of questions. She one time asked Sam, what is WAP? Is it shocking to me that I'm the only one in therapy? Yes, because we all need it. So it depends. But I was never going to talk about this publicly.
Any closing thoughts that you would like to share for my class?
Thanks for putting up with Sam. I mean, I've had to do it for like 18 years. It's hard. I understand.
Almost 19.
Almost 19?
Yeah.
Damn, that's unfortunate. So, like, I'm sorry. Have fun in college, guys. College is great. We're all depressed. You see the problem with this, right? I was never gonna talk about this publicly. It's a crucifix.
Oh my god.
Some wet grass on my
I'm just so afraid of the bugs.